Paris.com.
Good morning. My name is Maddie and I am a senior playwriting and screenwriting major here at Purchase College. Before we begin, I must seize the opportunity to plug my senior project, A Little Woman, which will be performed here on campus on Friday, November 22nd at 7 p.m. and Saturday, November 23rd at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. in the Humanities Theater. In today's symposium, I will be sharing my experiences from the prestigious Disney College program, which I completed in the spring of 2018. Also, I will warn you now, if you don't like Disney jokes, it's time to let it go. The Disney College program is a semester-long opportunity to work at the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida, or the Disneyland Resort in California. Participants in this highly selective program are housed together and get the opportunity to take unique classes for credit, and of course, get to work full-time at the resort. During my semester at Florida, I was trained to be a cast member, which if you didn't know, is what Disney calls their employees. I was so lucky with my work location that I was at Disney's Magic Kingdom, the busiest theme park in the world. My job was to serve Mickey-shaped snacks at the 25-plus carts all over the park, and to provide guests with a once-in-a-lifetime experience when they visited the parks. Because of my job and its location, I had the privilege to watch the fireworks spectacular Happily Ever After every night. This pyrotechnic wonder follows a familiar arc for a playwriting and screenwriting major like myself. It follows Joseph Campbell's familiar hero's journey formula. First, a dream, then a call to adventure, a support system of friends, helpers, and loved ones, the adversities and challenges, the triumphs, and a grand finale. Now we will experience a hero's journey. Well, a heroine's. Mine. The dream. From a young age, I knew two things. One, I wanted to be a writer, and two, I loved Disney. It took me years to realize exactly what type of writer I wanted to be, and coming to Purchase helped me find my place in the playwriting and screenwriting community. The Walt Disney Company is undeniably one of the world's most beloved storytelling facilitators, and getting my foot in the door with Disney as quickly as possible was a good place to start. I first found out about the Disney College program when I was in middle school, and I committed to taking AP courses in high school so I could get ahead on credits for college and be able to undertake the program while staying on track to graduate in a 4-year period. It is important to me to have a well-rounded education and to take advantage of the opportunities that allow me to do so. A call to adventure. My main goals for completing the program, in addition to becoming part of the world of Disney, were to get out of my comfort zone and absorb new experiences. But like Princess Merida, I had to start by reaching for the sky and getting into the program. The process is 3-step. Like most jobs, first, you submit an online application. If they like your application, you are asked to complete a web-based interview, and if you pass that, you are asked to participate in a phone interview. I submitted my initial application on the day the applications became available, and I received my web-based interview later that day. That being said, everyone moves at a different pace through the process. I only waited a few hours, but still worried because other people moved even faster than I did. The web-based interview is all multiple choice, and it's more of a personality test than an interview. It took about 15 minutes to complete, and when it was over, I was immediately offered the opportunity to schedule a phone interview. I scheduled it for 4 days later, and I used that time to do my due diligence and research what to expect. This was only my 4th official job interview, and the first one I would be doing over the phone. One of the greatest pieces of advice I got when I did the interview was to do the interview in front of a mirror to make sure I was still smiling and present even though I wasn't face-to-face with my interviewer. My interview lasted about 15 minutes, and I thought it would be like most of the typical interviews that I had been on before, in which I would ask about my specific strengths and my weaknesses, but for this interview, it was mostly story and situation-based. My interviewer kept asking questions like, tell me about a time you handled an emergency, or what would you do if a child was too scared to meet Mickey Mouse? I had to really think about my answers and tell stories in a concise and professional manner. After my interview was over, it was time to play the waiting game. Simba just couldn't wait to be king, and I couldn't wait to get in. 4 long weeks later, I received an email congratulating me and welcoming me into the program. It was time to move to the Sunshine State for a semester. Friendships. When I arrived in Florida, I learned what my job would be. To put it simply, I loved my job. While it was by no means my first choice, I could not have imagined having spent my program doing anything else. You would think that popping popcorn or selling smart water would teach me important skills I could use in my field, but I was just as surprised as you are. I learned how to focus under pressure, because when you have a line of families in front of you hungry for snacks and the fireworks are starting in 10 minutes, it's all hands on deck. Because the snack carts are scattered all over the park, you have to be constantly thinking ahead and anticipating your location's needs, because carts are only refilled every few hours. I had to remain calm, organized, and prepared at all times. Before my program, my world was pretty small. My friends were either from Purchase or from high school, and I was never the type to seek adventure. Living and working with people from all over the world has changed all of that for the better. Get it? Genie made all my wishes come true, and now I have wonderful friends from all over the world, including but not limited to Australia, Scotland, South Korea, Mexico, and every time zone in the United States. I learned it takes very little to bring people together, but it takes more than distance to tear people apart. I saw things from perspectives I never could have considered before, and met people who challenged me to be a better person by being kind, supportive, and simply magical. I learned how to view the world from the eyes of a child again, which is important, particularly because I am at a time in my life when the world seems big and scary. It's a small world after all. Adversity. But it wasn't all Hakuna Matata. Every good story has a good villain. Living away from my family was an obstacle that I had yet to tackle, and living in Florida absolutely pushed me to do so. First, I lived with 5 other girls from all over the country, but I'd only planned to live with 3 others, so the first challenge came on the first day, when I had to accept that things weren't going to go as planned. I had to take a step back and remind myself that they probably weren't prepared for this either, and that we were all in this together, and we definitely shared a love of Disney. Being away from all I'd ever known made me a stronger and more independent person, and I learned how to better cope with my anxieties, how to handle myself around all kinds of people, and how to cook for myself. Kinda. The next challenge I faced was navigating my way around my new workplace. Having only worked in town libraries and dance studios before this, finding my way around the ins and outs of the Magic Kingdom was a lot to take in. From the beginning, I was bombarded with guest questions that I initially didn't know the answers to, and that was scary. I learned to take advantage of all the resources that Disney provided for me, and by the time my time as a cast member came to an end, if a guest asked me a question I somehow still had never heard before, I knew where to turn to find the answers. I learned how to communicate with guests of all ages and all backgrounds. I can always tell when someone's looking for a bathroom, no matter what language they're speaking, and how to make magic on the spot, and for that, I will always be grateful. Triumph and finale. As a cast member, I received numerous cast compliments from visiting guests and 2 special anecdotes from my readers. The best compliment of all, however, came when I was personally thanked and complimented by Magic Kingdom's then president, Dan Cockrell, for my commitment to making magic and keeping the park safe and clean. Additionally, I took 2 classes through Disney for which I received credit for at Purchase College upon my return. These courses, organizational leadership and entertainment production, were incredibly insightful, exciting, and well-rounded. I became a respected group leader within my organizational leadership class, and my final project was kept by the instructor to be used as an example for future sessions of the class. I learned how to successfully network not only myself, but also my work and my ambitions. It can be hard to convey your ideas, your work ethic, and your personality in a limited amount of time, but when there are 60 other people in the room who all want the same thing you do, you need to learn to stand out. Outside of my work and my classes, I also experienced every exciting thing I wanted to do on my DCP bucket list, and embraced trying new things and meeting new people in a way I never believed myself capable of doing. I can proudly say that I survived riding every single ride in all 4 parks, and I didn't lose my lunch on any of them. I never thought I would be able to do that. While working in the parks didn't change my career ambitions, it did reaffirm my desire to work for the company in a creative position. At Disney, even when you are serving popcorn and making Mickey-shaped hot pretzels, you are still a part of the story. Storytelling is one of Disney's most strongly held core values, and I want my stories and ideas to be brought to life by a company that not only values creativity and innovation, but inspires it in every single one of their employees. Shortly after completing my program, I was hired at my local Disney store, where I have been able to make magic a little closer to home while finishing my degree here at Purchase. Remember when I said I wanted to complete the Disney College program while also graduating on time? Well, I won't be finishing my degree on time, but I'll be finishing a semester early. But what will I do with all this newfound time? I'm thrilled to announce that in January of 2020, I will be doing this all over again, but this time I will be doing it at the Disneyland Resort in California. My days of pretzels, churros, plushies, and figurine sets are over, as this time I will be a guest services assistant cast member. I'm so excited to be a cast member across 3 different branches of the Walt Disney Company, and I hope to continue my career with Disney by expanding to more branches in the future. To end, I will leave you with the concluding lines of the Happily Ever After fireworks show. And so, our journey comes to an end. But yours continues on. Grab hold of your dreams and make them come true. For you are the key to unlocking your own magic. Now go, let your dreams guide you, reach out and find your happily ever after. Thank you.